At this point, I feel like half the videos I make are about foods with names that sound like someone sneezed mid-sentence. And today's no different. Welcome to My Grandma Can Cook, Moussaka. Now, some of you might be thinking, I had this at a restaurant once and that's not how they pronounced it. And you'd be right. That's because there are actually two versions of this dish. There's the Middle Eastern Moussaka with eggplant, that's probably the one you've had, and then there's the Balkan one with potatoes, and that's the one we're making today. Funny story, I had an Egyptian flatmate in uni, and we were both equally confused when we realized our countries have a dish with the same name, but completely different ingredients. We just stared at each other like, that's not the same dish at all. Anyway, enough reminiscing, let's talk about some history. Its Balkan version originates from Greece. A chef named Nikolaos Tselementes added French bechamel sauce and later potatoes. And then, somewhere en route to Bulgaria, both the eggplant and the sauce mysteriously disappeared. What survived became our national staple. And here's what you need to make it. We start by peeling the potatoes. Next, it's time to cut them. My mom just gifted my grandma a brand new sharp knife. First thing she says, "This knife is very dangerous." Then immediately starts slicing potatoes midair with the blade pointed directly at her palm. I told her there's a perfectly fine chopping board right in front of her and she just went, "Oh no, I'm not used to that." Cool, totally safe. Onions turn, cutting board, never heard of her. Tomatoes go next. She peels and roughly chops them, then throws them in a food processor with the onion and blends them into a puree. Now for the mince. We're using a multi-cooker, but a regular pan works. Toss it in, add about 150 ml of water and break it apart. Once it looks cooked, she adds the potatoes and gives it a mix. Paprika and gives it a mix. Chilli powder and another mix. Tomato and onion and, you guessed it, another mix. She just really likes mixing, okay? And last but not least, she adds the vegetable seasoning and savory, and gives the final mix, before sealing the lid and pressure cooking for 11 minutes. If you don't have a pressure cooker, just boil the potatoes separately and add them later. While that's doing its thing, we make the topping by adding eggs, flour, yogurt, and a teaspoon of salt to a bowl, and then mixing until bubbles form. A hand whisk works as well, if you like doing things the hard way. Pressure cooker's done, we open it up and believe it or not, it's time for another mix. At this point my grandma realized that we forgot the black pepper and adds it. Ideally add it earlier, but it won't haunt you at night if you don't. She pours everything into a deep oven tray and spreads it evenly. It goes into a preheated oven at 200 degrees for 10 minutes. Then it's diligently topped with the sauce and goes back in for another 15 minutes or until it sets. One more round out of the oven, she grates the cheese on top and back in for another 5 minutes until it's melted and golden. To serve, we top it with yogurt and dig in. And there you have it. Now you know how to make one of the many variants of this dish. But since my grandma made it, it's obviously the superior one. Since I like it when my grandma cooks me things, and I'd like her to keep doing that, I'm gonna rate this dish a 10 out of 10. And on that note, I'm gonna thank you all for watching, feel free to let us know what you'd like to see her cook next, and we'll see you in a bit.